you really hate Sean Combs.
Why would they be thinking that?
Because of the things that you post on Instagram, because of the...
Look at this. And let's stop for a second and do say that I hated him enough to hire his kids. And we've never done anything to each other. So it's just competitive energy and things that you say about other artists while you're in hip-hop culture.
You guys don't need to worry about me getting revenge from Diddy. I've got 3 moves that make sure he'll never be able to come after me or my family. First, I personally reached out to the victims' legal teams. The real reason he's not getting out is those buried cases behind the scenes. I provided legal funding for 7 victims who had been silent for years and brought in the top criminal attorneys in the country. Second, I bought up every potential post-release business deal he had lined up. I planned this 2 years in advance, so by the time he got sentenced and still had hope of getting out, every partner had already cut ties with him. I know he's still in there fantasizing about a comeback, but the truth is, he's never come.
We're losing.
Netflix releasing never-before-seen video of Sean Diddy Combs filmed just days before his arrest on charges of sex trafficking and racketeering in 2024. The footage is part of a 4-part docuseries, Sean Combs: The Reckoning, premiering Tuesday.
How did you get that footage of Diddy?
I figured most journalists would not disclose their sources.
Does he know y'all have this in the doc?
I would doubt he knows.
So when this airs, that'll be the first time that his legal team, Diddy, that everybody knows that this footage is now seeing the light of day. Perhaps.
Combs' team firing back in a statement to NBC News, saying the Netflix so-called documentary is a shameful hit piece and that they relied on stolen footage that was never authorized for release. His team sending a cease and desist to Netflix.
You didn't realize on Monday that every word that you...
The discussion begins with the intense rivalry surrounding Sean Diddy Combs and the reason some people believe there is deep hatred between major figures in hip-hop. The explanation points towards social media posts, competitive energy, and comments made about other artists. At the same time, the conversation turns toward Diddy's legal troubles, with claims that powerful moves were made behind the scenes to prevent him from rebuilding his career after prison. The speaker describes contacting legal teams connected to alleged victims, providing financial support for legal representation, and attempting to eliminate potential business opportunities that could have helped Diddy make a comeback. The central message is that Diddy may still imagine a future return, but the speaker believes the industry has already moved on.
Then over the years, I see them giving garden parties. You understand what I'm saying? You could tell that the people in power had gave that reign to Diddy, and Jay was next in line. So to separate him, when in fact they may be two of the same, but because Jay-Z is low-key, that low-key sneaky shit, and Diddy is, and was rambunctious, you know, just out with it, it don't mean that they not two of the same. One just a little quieter with his shit.
What happened at the basketball game? When they ran into, you guys ran into Jay-Z?
They were just talking. They was talking amongst each other about their little white girls. They little skinny white girls.
And I mean, did Diddy always say negative things about Jay around you?
The time he was trying to get Ja Rule to go at Jay, yeah. He was. They worked it out.
Was there a reason behind it?
I couldn't tell you the reason behind it. It was probably because Big had died. I don't know what it was, man. I don't know why he wanted Ja Rule to go at Jay. I guess if he kept them beefing or kept them into some bullshit, he could rise up in between both of them. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It definitely was some snake shit.
Well, you know, Meek Mill is also someone who has been tied into this whole Diddy.
Rihanna was trafficked to Def Jam.
She was an innocent baby when she came over here. And look
She
at
was
her now.
14 going on 15 years old. Flown over without parental supervision in a private plane by a man who was supposed to be a producer who auditioned her at 3 a.m. in the fucking morning in a hotel room. Auditioning at 3 a.m. in the morning, a 14-year-old girl. She was flown to another country. She was taken to Def Jam headquarters. She was left in a conference room alone with Sean Carter for nearly 6 hours alone with no parental supervision. Her father collected a $500,000 check. She has the fastest ink.
Netflix then enters the story with previously unseen footage of Sean Combs filmed shortly before his arrest on serious federal charges. The footage becomes part of a documentary series examining his career, controversies, and legal situation. Questions are raised about how the footage was obtained and whether Diddy or his legal team knew it existed. His representatives respond by criticizing the documentary and describing it as an unauthorized attack, while reportedly taking legal steps against Netflix. The broader discussion then expands beyond Diddy, arguing that for years some of hip-hop's most powerful names were protected not necessarily by innocence, but by silence. The documentary uses 50 Cent's perspective to explore the relationships between influence, loyalty, money, and the unwillingness of people to speak publicly.
And those men sit up there and seen her being abused by him, and they did what everybody else did for years in the industry. They kept it quiet and kept doing business with her.
Do you think a lot of people know what Puff was doing and kind of just turned a blind eye?
Yeah. That's a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer. He had got so... Listen, everybody in the world knew he took a cowbell and tried to beat the coach up with it. Nobody did nothing. They heard stories for years about him slapping, beating Kim and all other women that he was with. I'm surprised more haven't came out with it. They don't probably want the attention or whatever. But there's more women out there can say that he probably put their hands on them.
With Usher, Neo, and Jimmy Iovine being exposed as somebody who might have potentially seen this type of behavior, you know, do you think that they will try to call them on the stand, or, you know, like, do you think they should be held accountable for some of that too?
Well, I think that when you have situations like that and you in a room with somebody, you can't make them see anything when they come to the stand, because all they can just say is that I didn't see it. I was there. I wasn't looking in that direction. I don't know what really happened. All I know is Cassie was holding her stomach, bent over, throwing up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they'll say anything. Their lawyers will tell them what to say. They have people to teach them what to say in circumstances and situations like that. So Dawn, yes, she saw it. She saw that they were there, and they should have seen it too. She would have to describe when that happened. What did Usher do? What did Neo do? What did they say?
The conversation then examines the connections between Diddy, Jay-Z, and other influential figures in entertainment. Some speakers suggest that differences in personality may have made these relationships appear different from the outside, while questioning whether powerful people can operate within similar systems despite having completely different public images. Stories involving conflicts between artists are discussed, including claims about Diddy wanting certain artists to confront Jay-Z. The discussion then expands toward allegations involving other major celebrities and the entertainment industry, including claims concerning young performers and powerful executives. These allegations are presented as claims and accusations rather than established facts, raising broader questions about how young artists can become vulnerable when entering industries controlled by powerful individuals.
When I first heard the allegations, I said to myself, that's 2000, that's when I was there. And so I got to read what was said and how it went down and everything like that. And then first of all, I start seeing some inconsistency. But I don't want to, criticize the victim or the person that said that they was a victim, but some of the statements and some of the things that I heard was incorrect. As far as I know what we did at that time. First of all, we did not use limousines. We used SUVs in 2000. You know what I'm saying? So when she said that it was a limousine that picked her up or she went with a limousine driver, I was kind of skeptical and wanted to hear more about her story. So now she said that the limousine driver, got her into a party, but somehow she had to went to a gas station, and if you know that area, there's no gas stations unless you walk all the way up to 96th Street. That's like 40 something blocks. So I was like, all you had to walk to the west side, which is another 14, 15 long blocks. And then you would have to know where you're going to find that gas station because it's close to the West Side Highway. Unless she went all the way downtown, and then who gonna pick her up from that far away from the the venue where she went to. So, and then she said something about that, the allegation said something about that she went with the limo driver. So did the limo driver drop puffing them off or jaying them off, then came back and got her, then take her to the party? It was just a lot of inconsistencies. I was like, first of all, we didn't even use limousines. You understand? Bad Boy used SUVs. So I found those being real inconsistent on what the story was she was talking about. And then for limousine driver who would know us, because our drivers didn't drive limousines, how you gonna tell somebody to get in the party? He had to go through security for that.
The documentary also examines the culture of silence surrounding alleged misconduct in the entertainment industry. Former associates describe situations where people may have witnessed troubling behavior but continued doing business with powerful figures. Questions are raised about whether celebrities who were present during controversial incidents could eventually be called to testify and what they might say under questioning. The discussion emphasizes that being present does not automatically mean someone witnessed wrongdoing, and that testimony must be evaluated through evidence and legal procedures. Public silence is also explored as a powerful force. Sometimes silence may represent caution or a legal strategy, but it can also allow public attention to disappear. The documentary asks what silence protects when influential people choose not to speak.
Acceptable monster at this time, like R. Kelly was the last time I sat on this couch.
So who's next?
Y'all don't see the lineup?
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, we see the lineup. I'm just waiting to see who's next.
Jay-Z is setting Diddy up. Why is everyone having such a hard time? He ain't doing shit different. He lined up D. Haven, stole his life and identity. He lined up Big L, stole his life and identity. He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life, identity, and took his love. Lined up R. Kelly. He wants to be the one.
Yeah, shout out D. Haven. He actually hit us up, wanted to tell this story.
You need to talk to D. Haven.
Yeah, we need to talk to him.
I told you that last year when I put you on the phone with him.
You did.
I want you to think about this. Allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyoncé, who was struggling. Let's just say allegedly that happened. Now, I want you to think about 106th and Park with Mary J. Blige. Free, who is a victim of Sean Carter.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige, who is a victim of Sean Combs, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other. Think about that. You got a Diddy victim, you got a Jay-Z victim, and you got a superstar gone. They know what happened. And yet, they had to sit there and have that conversation like they didn't know who did it. Think about Claudia Jordan right now. Claudia Jordan don't ever mention my mother name. She mentioned it yesterday. Talking about why people are afraid to come forward. You mean like you? You was Diddy girl. Corey was Jay-Z girl. Why don't you claim your friend? Claudia.
As allegations move from private conversations into lawsuits, interviews, and sworn testimony, the story becomes more complicated. Some individuals challenge particular allegations by pointing to details they believe are inconsistent with their own memories of events. One example involves claims about transportation, locations, and how people supposedly entered certain parties. The speaker argues that some details do not match how security and transportation operated at the time. However, the documentary emphasizes that disagreements over individual details do not automatically prove or disprove an entire allegation. Instead, the goal is to compare testimony, timelines, records, and other available evidence. The discussion then turns toward the possibility that new allegations involving other major figures could emerge, creating a larger debate about accountability throughout the music industry.
To turn around and just tear his whole life down, but it's all because of his mentors and the people that trained him and taught him the music business. You know, it's all about the people who trained and taught him the music business, because Puff wasn't, he wasn't born a monster. You know what I'm saying? He was made into a monster, brother. Do you understand what I'm saying? He was made into a monster from the stuff that happened to him, the things that he had to do. You understand? The things that he had to do to become who he is. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's like this, brother. You never like something so much that you can't do without, and you never be willing to do anything to get where you want to be at. You got to have principles, you got to have morals, you got to keep with that stuff. And in that music business, a lot of that stuff get thrown out the window. You understand? And that's what happened to him. He started doing the things to other people that was done to him. To keep it frank, he was doing the things to other people that was done to him. And it is what it is. You got to know better. And if you know better, you will do better. When he was in New York City, he was like that gecko from the Geico commercial. Then he turned and started going, when he lived in Cali and Miami, he turned into Godzilla. I would see him talk about how he using drugs. He was never like that. Smoking cigarettes, smoking weed and everything like that. He turned into something that you could consider a monster, bruh. Then he started doing things to people, you understand, that he learned. That's a learned behavior, bruh. Now, I'm not saying that he may have been doing a couple of things here and there with women, stuff like that in New York, but the things that they're talking about that he was doing, bringing in prostitutes to have sex with his girl and all that stuff like that, that was some crazy stuff to me, man. So I'm just looking at this whole thing, man, and you had asked me, and we don't have...
Another major theme is the transformation of a person's legacy. The discussion suggests that people are shaped by their environments, mentors, ambitions, and experiences, while also stressing that individuals remain responsible for their own choices. Diddy is described by some speakers as someone who may have changed dramatically throughout his career, moving from a young businessman in New York to an extremely powerful figure surrounded by wealth, fame, and influence. The argument is that success can sometimes weaken personal principles when ambition becomes more important than morality. At the same time, the documentary avoids treating a person's entire legacy as automatically erased by allegations. Instead, it examines how creative achievements, cultural influence, business success, and philanthropy are weighed against serious controversies and questions about accountability.
Everybody know that if he's stealing rhymes and he's stealing bars, I know that's your man, Mighty. But you know there's a lot of bars and a lot of rhymes he done stole from people. If he's stealing rhymes and he's stealing bars, he ain't writing no letter like that for nobody and to nobody.
I mean, Jay was paying homage, man, showing respect.
Oh, okay. He was showing respect?
Yeah.
Well, I guess Tupac and Biggie showed the same respect too, right? Huh? Oh, you ain't got nothing to say about that. All right, okay. I guess Big L was showing respect too, right? I guess Cam them show respect too, huh? It's a lot of rappers, man. I guess Mace was showing respect too. It's a lot of rappers, man. They don't steal. Yo, Mighty, I'm finna blow you out the water. This nigga stole the whole song. I got 99 problems, and now he finding out a bitch is one. Come on now. He stole a whole song from Ice-T. Didn't give him the props on it. I know you're gonna cut this part out, but it's the truth. Let's get back to the letter. Now, he called the lawyer ambulance chase and all that stuff like that. I think Tony Busby probably got a lawsuit against him now. You understand? Defamation of character, the whole 9 yards. So Jay gonna have to say, I didn't write that, my lawyer wrote that. But he came out like saying that he wrote it, like he was doing that. So he got him a defamation class, defamation. I think Tony Busby got a defamation lawsuit against him right now. Against his character, this, that, and the third, the whole 9 yards. So as far as that letter is concerned, man, Tony Busby sent him a demand letter, award letter. All lawyers do that. He didn't go out the scope of what the information he had from representing his client. Now Jay-Z is sitting back, you know what I'm saying, going at him personally. Now, all this back and forth and this media stuff like that, 9 times out of 10, you usually don't find that lawyers going at each other in the media. They be doing that shit in the courtroom, but it makes for entertainment. And I guess we're being entertained by this bullcrap. To protect myself, that there's stories of Jay talking to underage girls. It was a girl from my block that was 16, 17 years old that Jay was talking to. If she was 17. So there's plenty of stories out there that they might flood the market of Jay talking to underage girls. I heard this kid that is claiming to be his son. His mother was 15 when she conceived him and had him at 16. And Jay refused to do a blood test or anything like that. And all of a sudden, when this has gotten real big and Tony Busby had taken the kid case, the kid just got arrested for having a gun in his car, I think, like that. Did you hear something about that? That the kid got arrested for having a gun in his car, and when they go and watch the tape, somebody was planting a gun in the kid's car. Now the kid who never been in trouble to that degree, and now he's facing a case for a gun case for having a loaded firearm in his car. So, answer your question. There's Plenty of stories. Ain't Beyonce one of those stories? Isn't Foxy Brown one of those stories? Isn't that kid mother one of his stories? There's a lot of stories, bro. So that's what I say about it.